let's start off then with the policies themselves, because a lot of people, they've all made their manifesto promises now, and Nigel says he's not going to call it a manifesto, he's going to call it a promise, a contract, if you like, with the people. It'd be helpful maybe just to understand the main differences between the different parties and their policies. Let's start with you, Vicky. What are the biggest differences?
Well, the main one is that Labour is talking about a series of tax increases, and hence why, of course, the Conservatives are attacking it as being, the party for increasing your taxes. If you vote for us, we will reduce your taxes, whereas Labour will increase them. Well, what they have said is they're not going to increase taxes on the working people, whatever that means, but they are definitely already announcing taxes on non-doms, so closing all the loopholes for non-doms. That had already started happening under the Conservatives, but Labour intend to progress further. They're going to be taxing, in order to be able to finance the areas that they're interested in, they're going to be taxing also private schools, which until now were exempt from VAT. They're going to be extending the windfall taxes on energy companies, gas and oil companies. So there are a number of areas where they are intending to raise taxes, but both main parties have said no increases in income taxes, no increases in the national insurance contribution, and no increases in VAT. The Conservatives in the manifesto are pledging a further 2% cut in the national insurance contributions. They've already cut them by 4% in two goes, actually in 2024 already, costing about 10 billion each. So they intend to continue doing that, and also spending more on infrastructure development, which everyone knows has been delayed for all sorts of reasons in terms of being able to actually put it into practice, even though they have, of course, themselves cut quite a lot of spending that was going to take place in terms of rail links up north in the UK. But nevertheless, they are stressing the fact that they will be investing more in the areas that they had announced earlier, including, of course, up to a point on green. Labour intend to do more on green investment. They've lowered their figures from about 28 billion a year by the end of the parliament, if they're elected, to about 5 billion a year. But given, of course, there's already quite a lot of spending on green that is involved in and assumed in the plans that the Conservatives had already before they announced the election, then that's actually quite a big increase on the something like 8 billion, which is being spent per annum now. So there are some differences there. They're not major, because even if you add all those tax areas that are mentioned by Labour, they don't amount to huge revenue increasing measures. So there is a serious issue about what it all means in terms of the economy, and whether some of the promises that have been made can be kept if taxes are not increased further.
Yeah, and you make some excellent points, and it's these weasel words, isn't it? When you say we won't increase taxes on the ordinary working person, well, what on earth is an ordinary working person? Because it suggests that they might raid investments, they might raid pensions, they might raid people who are not ordinary working folk.